Everybody's in the video. Hold on while I start the recording. I know these fucking things are getting crazy.
Dude, there was a helper video last night. I had to kill.
I think there's that window's not sealed, so
dude, it was big.
We'll fix it. All right, here we go. What's up, bitches? This is the Not So Black podcast. You're going to notice that before we get started, there's an empty seat beside me. We are no longer going to have Steve in the podcast, so we're just going to address that right off the top. He has moved on to smaller and worser things. Let's just kind of move forward and keep it chill, you know? So I'm going to get online here and get onto the Facebook so that way I can react and comment and take your questions. We have here the wonderful Wolf Reddington and the illustrious Matt Hadden. No need for exclusive or intensive introductions because these guys are fan favorites and familial friends. So here we are for episode 10 of the Not So Black podcast. Thank you all for joining. I will know who is with us in just a moment. Wolf, how was your week?
It was good. Did some work, did some floating today. It was fantastic.
You went floating today?
You went to Franklin twice, so I did it yesterday and today.
Is that like your Sunday thing? I think last Sunday you did the same, right?
Yeah, it's French Creek's high. It's good to do.
Big
Yeah,
weekend
that's
for
true.
it, man. It was really hot. Like,
It was probably quick.
really hot.
Was the river fast?
Yeah, it was a blast. A blast from the past. Felt like a kid again.
Felt like a kid again. You heard it here first on the Not So Black podcast from Wolf Reddington.
Because I
From the mouth of babes.
I went to the Rocky Grove Fair and well, shit, I felt pretty darn old. You know, everyone there was like high school kids, and I guess I did that when I was in high school. But
How gay was that?
I heard it was bad. Like bad.
I did a couple laps. So I'm not gonna lie, I drank a 40.
Yeah,
I had to hide in the woods and drink a 40 first.
How do you get
and
through it?
Didn't really make it any better.
No, how do you get through the...
Too old.
Rocky
Too old
Grove
for
Fair?
that stuff.
Yeah. Unless you got a kid, man.
Yeah, it's no fun, man. It's no fun.
No.
Nobody likes the Rocky Grove Fair anymore. Fuck you, Rocky Grove Fair, raise some more money. So yeah, I think, didn't they have an issue, if you remember the issue they had a few years back with fundraising for the Rocky Grove
When they
Fair?
would charge people entry fees instead of just buying food and ticket rides.
Yeah.
Tickets for rides.
Yeah, guys listening, we have Owen Weaver and Chris Peterson, Paige Rhodes. Owen Weaver, I work with him at the restaurant. Thank you for supporting us. If anybody has any comments, let us know what the Rocky Grove Fair was from your perspective. And yeah, they had some money issues a few years back. So like, were you here for that?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
they
think
had
say
this
it was
whole
like
thing.
Yeah, I remember
Five
somebody
years
telling me they didn't have
They were going
rides
to cancel it.
anymore.
Yeah, they had no rides at the time. It was a really bad year.
Before, you could just go in and you could go up to a booth and pay your money and get some tokens for rides, or you could just pay your money and play games. This year, maybe the year after, like you couldn't get into the fair unless you paid a fee.
Yeah,
like you couldn't even
it was like a
walk
cover
around.
charge at the bar.
In addition to the
Can't
parking
even
fee
drink.
or whatever, yeah.
They're
So
going to charge you money. I better be allowed to drink.
that didn't fly too well, from what I understand. And then they, changed that swiftly.
But yeah, who knows? This vape is brought to you by Attack Super Flat Coils. There's a picture of an eagle on the box.
It's pretty American.
Tastes Chinese.
Damn, that's a big hit.
Tastes Chinese, but it looks American, so that's all I can say, because I'm pretty sure somebody in China made the coils and probably all of them. I think, no, the vape is made in America. The coils that I ordered probably came from China, unless they're American. I don't
America
know.
was made in China.
Little Douglas Titus Jr. Yo, Owen Weaver, here's your shout out. Young Weave. He's 16. He wants to be a rapper, like any white kid his age living in Franklin. They just want to be rappers.
Push me
So,
to the edge.
I seriously hope that you raise the money for your elected procedures, because sex
Can we ask
changes
him
aren't,
what
very expensive.
rappers are
He
current
loves
rappers?
Drake.
Alright, I was like thinking, like, is he into this like Migos Migos.
No, he's a big
thing.
Drake fan. He was telling me all about Drake, and I was
Lil
like, I don't
Yachty.
care. I'm a Degrassi fan, so.
Wheelchair Jimmy.
Wheelchair Jimmy, that's my era of Drake. That's where I come from. But we are going to get started, as always. We do a little bit of interrobang. I haven't really kept up on entertainment news because it's been a big week for sports.
Huge week for
We have an
sports.
announcement that we will make halfway through because there's a new thing coming this week that everybody should get ready for. There hasn't been like much major news. I know in Pittsburgh there was that guy who was tased in the back. Did you guys see that?
I've heard
I've
about
seen
it. I don't
it.
remember
He
anything
was
about
sitting down on the curb, and it was in PA. It wasn't in Pittsburgh. He was sitting on the curb, and they were telling him, put your legs out straight, cross them, sit down. So like their directions were clearly confused because there's two of them. They
Right.
weren't communicating clearly, but the guy was sitting there complying.
Is
He
this
wasn't
like
moving. He just didn't know what to do with his legs.
Simon Says,
Was
but
he white or
if you're
black?
wrong,
He was a
you
black
get
dude, of
tased.
course. And he didn't do his legs exactly how they wanted him to, so they tased his ass in the back.
Right.
And
And instead of being out, then Simon Says you get fucking hit with a taser.
Or shot. Luckily, it was just a taser.
resisting.
Yeah. How shitty is that now, where in police officer interactions, we consider it lucky that the person got tased?
It's absurd.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's
Sign of the times.
It is. It's depressing. It is honestly kind of surprising we're not talking about a shooting, though. I mean, maybe
Well,
it's
there
Pittsburgh's
was
pretty
that
wild.
shooting in the news.
Oh yeah,
the
when was
newsroom
that?
got shot up.
Yeah, the newsroom. Never mind, man.
Some newsroom just got shut up, and people are saying, does it have to do with the fact that Trump and a lot of people are calling out the media, and he did call them America public enemy number one is the media, is the news media.
That's
Fake
like
news.
my
That's dangerous, right?
background.
Because then you go and some crazy assholes like they're public enemy number one. They're ruining America. The media. I mean, seriously, that sounds like something a crazy person would do. I mean, if you
I thought public
I don't know.
enemy number one was like terrorism.
or drugs, it used to be drugs.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it is. It's
Just
terrorism, drugs, sex, pornography has been
Money, car, fame, sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's what people worship. That is
Money has
that's
never
God
been-
to most people. dude.
Money has never been public enemy number one to the government. The government has always said
No.
sex, drugs, music, and
I just
most
think there's
recently-
gonna come a day, man, when the money really ain't gonna save your ass.
No, I think
Inflation,
blockchain.
$1 million won't get you a loaf of bread type thing.
I just read that blockchain is saving commerce. I read it in Wired magazine. I keep an assortment of reading materials next to the toilet because I have a subscription to 10 different magazines that I got for $9.
It's living large.
A year subscription for $9 is a good deal. So I got Time magazine, Sports Illustrated, Wired, Entrepreneur, like just some good magazines.
When is the swimsuit?
I don't know. The
They got one
swimsuit's
out.
coming up next month, right?
I'll be looking forward to that one.
Yeah, because I just got the Sammy Sosa one, but Steve ripped the fucking cover of
Should
it.
they make a statue for Sam?
I was real mad about it. I just got it, bro. I was like, come on. I didn't even go. I put it next to the toilet so I could read it. I hadn't even opened it yet. And I go upstairs and the front cover just
It
like
would have
was quarter
been
ripped
acceptable
off.
had there been no toilet paper.
And I'm like, I know why
And he
you
wasn't
ripped
wearing
off.
socks or something, but
Fucking asshole.
Man,
But yeah,
my world.
Juice World. Owen Weaver's going. Oh, Post Malone. He likes Post Malone.
That guy makes great music, looks homeless.
Tommy Din, what's up? Hey, Emily Ray, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Yeah, Post Malone looks homeless, but he can play the guitar and sing
He's, like,
really
really
well.
talented.
Have you ever heard him?
I hated him, and then like I watched
He's just different down in
Shit.
Texas, dude.
He's
I can
good.
tell you a fucking crazy Texas story.
We'll get to that then
Okay.
because I definitely want to hear it.
It starts at Mardi Gras and ends in Texas.
Oh,
Who
wow.
doesn't want to hear it?
No, that's amazing. He Post Malone did this he did a Sublime cover on guitar. He did a Bob Dylan one.
Yeah.
He can sing like crazy. So he likes to perform and do hip hop and rap, but he's got other talents. So like that was when I was like I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Basically, he's a jack of all trades, master of all.
Like I wouldn't buy his album.
Yeah, he's like that good. It's weird. I didn't think he was gonna be that good,
Yeah.
but he's really good at guitar, really good at singing, really good at writing and performing. Like if you can do what was that song he did for Hilarity for Charity with Seth Rogen? He did that
Oh,
one song.
I forget, but I watched it.
It was like an old school '70s R&B song,
Yeah.
and he sang "Return to the Mac."
Yeah,
He sang "Return to the Mac,"
shit.
and he did it perfectly.
Don't do that, dude.
Yeah, and he did it perfect. I was like, no shit, Post Malone, but he sang it. It was beautiful. So guys, I'm on a Interrobang. There's nothing too big, but if you have a subscription to Showtime, and if you're on, if you have cable, if you have Showtime, please watch American Warrior. Eric Griffin is a comedian, and his stand-up is hilarious. He's a really funny guy. And then Danny McBride is coming back with HBO again. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the series Eastbound and Down.
That's the greatest show.
It is
Kenny
one of the
Powers.
greatest. Let's see.
You're fucking out.
I don't know. I think I just got a text message from our missing cast member, but I'm not going to check it because he knows that we're here. So he could show up at any moment, folks. You never know.
You know, Danny
so,
McBride is going to be Michael Myers in the new Halloween movie.
Are you serious?
100% serious.
He's going to play Michael
Myers.
Myers. You know who Danny McBride is, right? That actor that looks like Garo.
The funny guy.
Pineapple
Yeah.
Express and shit.
He looks so much like Garo, like, except for like Garo is 4 years old and grows.
He has an interview on YouTube.
You know?
They actually got the green light from John Carpenter himself, like the creator of Halloween. So
Eastbound and Down, man, and Vice Principals.
That's
That's
a funny show,
that was
yeah.
funny. I just enjoy those. I hate sitcoms.
yeah.
Absolutely fucking hate daytime television. Cannot stand it. Hate it with a passion. So like when there's some gems, like HBO is the only shows that I'll really watch. But I hate Game of Thrones. All that bullshit that people push down your
I
throat.
thought Game of Thrones was sweet.
It's
I've only
awesome.
ever seen one episode.
See, I
the one that I
watched-
saw was
Dude, it's legit.
Was it badass?
You have to
See,
get into it, dude.
I saw one episode and then I was just like, I don't have the energy or the
Yeah, I
time
don't-
to invest into
well,
it.
that's
It
how I am with
takes so
all
much.
TV and all.
It's the long, man. The
I have
first
a hard
season
time
I
watching
hate
movies if I'm
Yeah.
not.
See, I'm a movie guy.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
movie buff. I know so much about movies. I'm a trivia buff when it comes to that because I need to be able. If I'm gonna watch something, documentaries especially. If it's 2 hours, I love it because then I can digest it. I can take it in. I can get it done. I don't like short movies and I don't like super long ones. But I will watch something that's 3 hours long and enjoy the fuck out of it, like the Rush documentary.
Yeah,
That was fucking
I watched a
insane.
documentary today.
What'd you
Why
watch?
make a dog?
It was about the place in the world that inspired the Lost World. You know?
Jamin Whitling, what's up? Is that he says that Bill motherfucker Jamin Whitling.
East Side, bro.
Yeah, this is
We
Wolf
go way
Reddington.
back. Me and
Yeah.
the J man.
Jamin. I saved Jamin's life one time. Remember I got
Oh,
kicked in the
geez.
head and I carried him to my car and then took
Me
him to
and
his parents.
Jamin used to have the UFC gloves. I used to have
Yeah.
the boxing gloves, and me and him were like the only ones that's always looking for a fight. We would have fought probably anyone, anytime. I
That's
got my
true.
ass kicked many times in those days.
That's funny. Yeah, those were the good old days back behind Riverfront.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked many
Yeah,
times.
that was the thing to do, man. I remember Chubb. Remember Chubbs? Big Chubbs?
Yeah,
I remember one time I boxed him up in Oak Hill.
how'd that go?
I beat him in 30 seconds, closed both of his eyes. And he's like,
I got beat
I can't breathe. And I'm like, I told you not to box me, dummy. And then Corey Bell was one of the toughest ones because he's little and scrappy and he wanted me to. And I kept hitting him and he's like, I'm not stopping. So I bloodied his nose and he's like, all right, man, fine. I was like, well, I'm bigger than you. Like, I can just, unless you can get right up in me, you're not going to fuck me up. You know what I mean? You're not
I
going
mean,
to
you
hit me
have
on the
like
outside.
superpowers, dude. You aren't even really human, so it's.
That is true. Honestly, I thought that. I remember when I was younger, I used to think I could control the wind with my mind. So this is a true story.
Telekinesis and stuff?
Yeah, swear to
What am I
God.
thinking?
So
No,
there was this fat girl who sexually abused me when I was younger. She didn't sexually abuse me, but she like got me to finger her. And she was like 18 and I
Sounds
was
like
12
you
and
maybe
13.
abused
Like, it was
her.
weird. So I was younger and she was older, but we were friends, like our group of friends, right? And she convinced me that vampires were real and that people could have powers and stuff, like
I'm
weird shit like
actually
that,
like
like
that
weird
before.
shit, So she was one of those chicks, and I was outside one day, focusing all my energy that I could, trying to make it storm, like looking up at the sky, doing this thing, walking back and forth, and out of nowhere it's a storm. Like I'm
Rain
talking
dance.
thunder, lightning, like it stormed like crazy, and I was like, I did that.
Are you part Native American?
Of course, I didn't have there were no smartphones, so I couldn't check the radar and see if there was a storm coming in, So I thought I controlled the weather. And then, like, I used to look at trees and try to get the wind to move the leaves a certain direction. Like, I really thought in my mind's eye that I could do this stuff, which maybe I could. Who knows?
I think telekinesis or telekinesis is possible.
In the future, I think once we evolve more, like
I think
this.
that it comes from the mind state. You ever notice when you're sleeping and right before you wake up, sometimes you're like not quite asleep, you're not quite awake. I think that if you could tap into that mind state right there, I think good things could come out of it.
There's some things that get me tripped out with electronics because brain waves and electrical waves, I feel like sometimes they combine to where, like, if you think a certain thing, it happens. Especially when it comes to computers. That's why so many people think the government's, like, they'll think something, then that'll be the first thing on the webpage. Even though they never typed it in, those kind of shit, you know what I mean? There's people who are like, the government's listening to us all the time. And I've had situations where, like, I'm thinking about a show, right? And then I'll fucking hit on my KO box, and that'll be the first thing I go to, and it's on. You know, so it's weird. There's just been weird things where or like ads, you know, like I'll think about buying something and then there'll be an ad for it, even though I've never searched it, didn't go on any web pages.
Yeah, usually they go off your searches and shit. And your
yeah, so there's been only a few weird ones like that, but other people have experienced it. So I feel like there is, there's an energy out there, obviously, that you can tap into, but I feel like we're not evolved yet to where we can control it.
I read a book, it was actually when I was hiking this last time. I can't remember what it was called exactly. Things they don't want you to know or whatever, but the concept of this book was this guy, all he did was look up Google searches, you know, people's Google searches, and what he found was, you know, racism, you would assume that it's most prevalent in the South, but it turned out that the most people who searched about racism and stuff, like when Barack Obama was elected, was in Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, and West Virginia.
Dude, the KKK the white supremacists are prevalent in middle Pennsylvania.
Yeah, this was the most popular search to, like, racism terms.
That makes sense, because Pennsylvania's got it going on when it comes to white nationalists. It's crazy if you go to like Lancaster, like Amish country, there's all these fucking white supremacists out there with like Nazi flags and shit, and then you got a wood carving. Like there's this guy, he's a wood carver and he makes these awesome like bears made out of logs and shit, but then he's also making the Iron Eagle. Like the Hitler symbols and shit, and he's like a really good family guy. So this black dude, it's called Hate Thy Neighbor, it's a TV show. And this black comedian goes around.
I saw that actually on Vice.
Yeah, Vice. And he goes around and he talks to these people, and he like almost changed, because the guy has 2 children with a Native American wife, an ex-wife. And he's like, do you look at your children as lesser beings just because they're mixed race? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, you're telling me that I'm lesser because I'm mixed. And he's like, oh, so kind of, you know, those kind of people, I feel like they're any kind of racism, especially in a place like Pennsylvania where it's not as deep rooted, they can change. The South has had it so far deep rooted that it's slowly starting to change because there's such a huge population of black people. In middle Pennsylvania, there's not much culture, so they are experiencing that.
It's pretty even mixed down there.
Back to the brain energy thing, I did want to talk about this because MIT just released this thing. They have a prototype out. It reads your thoughts. And it records the conversations you have in your head.
Oh, jeez.
That you have with yourself. It doesn't record it, but what it does is it turns that into an electrical signal, and you can control things. So you can think up or down on it like a screen, and you can control like your Netflix with your mind. So it can, so far, it can understand 100 words.
It reminds me of that South Park episode.
Oh, the Trapper Key, or no, the Insecurity.
The volleyball one.
Yeah, Insecurity, where it reads out, and then there's other
goes straight
people.
to Twitter.
Yeah, that's just funny. But it's like that. So these people, they can understand 100 words so far in different commands. So you can use your mind and say up or down, and the screen, and the clicker will go up or down. It's nuts. So like that's going to be a real thing. If MIT's already got it going, that's pretty badass. I don't know, it's just weird. We have Devin Waslink and Stephanie Coxon. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know, man. I think technology is going to get to a place where none of us are going to have privacy.
Have you ever seen that show Black Mirror on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
You need to watch that because it's all about, each episode is about how technology somehow like seriously fucks up people's lives. Like it's beneficial until it's the complete opposite. And it's like,
see, that's how
suspense.
I feel like that's the direction we're going, because at some point we're going to be able to access everybody's information.
Well, there was that other movie, Disconnect. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I think so.
Yeah, it was just multiple ways of how people got their lives turned upside down.
But it's definitely the way that we're moving, so I mean, it's what makes it
Like identity theft. And
crazy. Your information's already out there. Everybody can see everything.
Yeah, that's it's probably on the dark web right now.
I feel like that's going to be the future with it, because eventually nobody's going to have any privacy unless you're completely disconnected. That's going to be damn near impossible. And I think that's going to also help people understand each other better. There's going to be less privacy. There's going to be people who are actually conscious about how they act and what they say and what they do. It's going to cause people to be more unified and more conscious of other beings and conscious of nature and how they impact their environment.
Yeah, it's still a good versus evil thing. You know, you can use anything for good or bad. You know,
Yeah. I feel like
as a whole, I think it needs to become good.
And I feel like technology is going to expose it to where you can't hide good and evil anymore.
Okay.
It's going to be right there on the surface, so you know somebody's true intentions the moment you meet them. And then if they're aware of the fact that you can see their true intentions,
whether they change or not is up to
they're
them.
going to be conscious of the fact they're going to say, "Oh, I don't want them to think I don't want to be like that." So
a lot of times it's people, they don't want to change, they just don't want people to know, so they'd rather sweep it under the rug rather than to fix it. You know, they'd rather cover up their mistake rather than to fix it.
Right.
You know,
Very true. It's uncomfortable to address that shit.
Jamin Whitling said, "Who's that other cat?" That's Matt Hadden, aka Tiss. Vanessa Willis. I can't see other dude. I can see both of them on the screen here, so you can clearly see them both.
Should I move up?
No. Look, you can see. This is what everybody else is seeing.
Oh shit! Yeah, right on.
Yeah, we're just sideways because we're
last week
we're some psychedelic
Paul
dudes.
Wall sitting sideways.
Yeah,
Paul
Paul
Wall's in his days. Yeah, right.
So, Wolf, you had some notes and some stuff you want to talk about this week, right?
if I can blow your mind.
Do it,
because that's why you came for
well,
round two.
I'll start with the one story brought up earlier, the Mardi Gras one. Cause
Tell that Texas story. I want to hear that.
Yeah. So when I was boating down the river, I ended up selling the boat after. If you've seen last week's episode, after the infamous deer drowning incident,
When you drowned a deer, that was hilarious.
so I sell the boat, right, and I meet this dude in New Orleans, right? I'm in New Orleans downtown, and he's like, "Can I use your phone?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, man, no problem." He's got a shitload of tats, but then again, so do I.
Yeah.
You know, so people were freaked out. I wasn't. Anyways, we go downtown. You know, we start hanging out, and he's like, "Dude, you ought to come to Texas with me." You know, this is Mardi Gras anyway, so we're walking around on Bourbon Street. You know what I mean? I think we bought some weed out of a tent, just right in downtown, and people selling weed right out of the tent. And we watch a couple Mardi Gras parades. He's like, "Come over to Texas with me." So we get a mega bus, $1 to go from New Orleans to San Antonio. We get over to San Antonio. We get up with his people, and they're meth heads.
Right.
But I'm in it now. You know, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, you're knee deep.
I'm rolling with them now. You know, I went out of my way, so I'm with them. And so we're doing whatever we're doing, and I find out that these people are career criminals.
Shit.
That's what they do. You know, and I should have known better because he's like, "Yo, we're gonna make you rich. We have shitloads of money." And I was like, yeah. If it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get there, and we're all up for days. Anyways, we go out, and these people, they got cars, but they're stealing cars. You know, what I mean, in the middle of the night. And then their gig was, so I don't know how this is gonna come across, but they would steal people's checks. So let's say you're out in the country, you're paying your bills, right?
Yeah.
You put the red flag up, mailman's gonna come, take your check, so you can pay your bills.
Yeah.
They're gonna steal your mail, copy your check, change a couple, big time, yeah. But they change a couple numbers, copies, and until the bank catches on, they're gonna run your shit out.
Wow.
And
That's a
that was
scam
their
right
gig.
there.
Big time.
And did they,
Thousands and thousands of dollars. They
as
already
far as
had
you know, they
thousands.
never went to jail.
Oh, they'd all been to prison multiple times.
But I mean, after you saw
Oh
it.
yeah. Well, I had left.
Yeah.
Once I found out what the gig was, okay, I'm not. This isn't.
And
what
this
I
was
did,
in
this
Mardi
is
Gras?
me.
You met them?
No, this is in Texas. They do it different in Texas for sure.
That's crazy. So from
First
Mardi
time.
Gras to Texas with these criminals,
With this one dude, yeah, I met on the street.
and then, wow, did you profit from it at all? Like, once you
No.
found out, like,
No, I didn't get shit. I just spent my money, but all I got was
knowledge, yeah,
how other people live.
to
to
pay
see the
attention,
way-
'cause you could get caught up in
To
some
see
shit.
the way that they steal their cars, the way that they get their drugs, sell their drugs, the way that they operate in the big city. You
Yeah,
know?
and I feel like someone like you, to them, is the perfect scapegoat.
Oh yeah, and that's what I was.
You're-
That
yeah.
was when they hand me that check. Hey, go cash this
Oh,
$1,000
fuck
check.
you, yeah.
You know, and he had previously told me earlier when we were partying in New Orleans and Mardi Gras, you know, anything under $400 will never come back to you. He hands me a $1,000 check. I'm like, all right, man, I'm out. You know, and that was it.
Yeah,
For
so
that one.
that's nuts. Real quick, Vanessa Willis, thank you. I'm glad you're good. Now I switched the camera around so everybody should be able to see our guests. You can see my face, kind of. That's all that matters. So, holy shit, you were so lucky, man.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I just never should have done it, but you live and you learn.
But yeah, you live and you learn. I mean, I've been
Just like-
through some criminality. Talking about documentaries, I've had an idea that probably could have got me in trouble. I wanted to do a documentary back when I was heavy into drugs, because when I was 19, I was a legit junkie. I wanted to do a documentary about drug use, but without a camera crew, to film it myself, and like my descent into drugs and how I was actually injecting drugs and film the actual ritual, what it was like waking up every day, like almost from like that Hardcore Henry movie perspective, where it's just a movie shot with a guy wearing a GoPro.
Yeah, that's what
I was gonna shoot it like that, like the actual perspective of a drug addict for that year that I was doing it, and then like I don't think I would have been allowed to, but like wear it through rehab and
First
treatment.
person intervention.
Yeah, it's I had like an idea like that, but I still think if I could find the correct subject to do it, it would be an interesting documentary, because drug addicts could benefit from it because they see they're not alone. It doesn't feel scripted or fake like most of them are. Like intervention is bullshit. Most of it is, you know.
But people love it, man.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
It feels
It's
peaceful.
first person.
Yeah, I love
It's
that
so
shit,
fun to
man.
watch.
Like Dr. Phil and all that shit. I love watching families.
So if you could do that from the first
It's
person
so
perspective, dude.
it's the cathartic like
almost makes me
tribalism.
not feel bad about me.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
That's exactly
cathartic
what it is.
tribalism inside of us that likes us to see other tribes fall
Yeah.
apart.
But you put
We're
that,
winning
Yeah,
as long as
that's
somebody's
true.
losing.
you put that perspective on it, like you said, man. It just automatically makes it like real.
Yeah,
You know, like it gives you some like genuine shit.
yeah. Even a movie. I was thinking about doing a full movie, like not even a documentary, but a movie with real shit in it. You know, like filming a movie with a story and a plot and characters, but having people, like real people, being the characters, and like not even feeding. It'd be like a documentary, but it would almost not feeding them lines, just no real script, but have some kind of story, or let the story kind of tell itself, something like that. Similar to a documentary, but still something that would be sold as entertainment. But then I thought, you know, it's kind of sad because it's somebody's real life, and I don't want to take advantage of people like that. So, back to Wolf's notes. What else do you have from the
So let me go with the story that just happened last month. So this is fresh in my memory, at least. So I was hiking on the trail. Man, you know, this is time to go. Spent a lot of money on a girl, and didn't work out because she told me I didn't have enough money. So unfortunately, it's not the first time. Probably won't be the last. Anyway, so I got 2 weeks to kill. I had to buy my Greyhound 2 weeks out in advance. I'm in this random town / city in the middle of the mountains. And I get there, and I meet this girl. She was a very attractive girl. And she would be my type. You know, she's got tattoos, she's got dyed blue hair, what I would call a suicide girl.
Nice.
Anyways, so, you know, she has a big backpack. I almost thought she was hiking, but then she's a local. And I ended up going back to her house, and we ended up doing some crystal. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And I just did it because I really wanted to get with her. Anyways, so I'm up for a couple days. I go out to the Appalachian Trail again, just because I got time to kill, and I am just
fucked up.
having a hard time. Yeah, I haven't slept in a minute. And I go down and I freaking killed a snapping turtle for whatever reason, dude. Big snapping turtle, dude. Smashed it, dude. I'm just cooking it on the fire and having a good time. I go back in, but I met some people and they realized what I've been into, and that was their thing. A lot of people were like, help me, I need it. And I was like, well, maybe I can help you, maybe I can't. I don't know how this is going to go. So I go down in, and I was also doing Tinder at the time. So I'm swiping right, and when I'm doing Tinder, I just, on the road, I just swipe right on everything. Because I don't have time to sift through it. I want to meet someone who help me out, please.
If you match,
please, I could use a shower, please let me do my laundry. Right. I matched with some girl. It was probably the most attractive girl I ever matched with on Tinder. And I'm thinking, wow, you know, this is cool, you know, I could really, maybe I'm going to get lucky, you know, maybe this is the one, you know, this is the one. Anyways, she sends me some pictures, very racy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, look where this is going. And anyways, so I'm like, all right, let's meet, you know, go to Walmart, right? You know, she's only a couple miles away. This is too good to be true.
Jesus Christ.
I'm waiting for her. Anyways, this guy gets in. And she'd been sending me pictures of her and her friend. And they're like, we want to meet you so bad. Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And anyways, so she's like, well, my friend's going to pick you up and we're going to meet you there. And anyways, this guy is like a 400-pound black man. He's shorter than me, can barely even walk. Okay.
Cuckold.
Driving a car, anyways. We drive around and I'm trying to like, where are the girls at? You know, what is this? He's like, yeah, well, I'll get a hotel right now. Yeah, we'll get a hotel. They'll both meet us there. But there's a catch. he's like, what we're into is all the dudes suck each other off. And then you can have sex with all the girls, but the dudes suck each other. Yeah, dude.
Like
pretty much, yeah.
Lesbians have
And I was running out of money, and they're like, we'll pay you. And I was like, no one's touching, no dudes are touching me. I don't understand why you have to be touching me if she wants to be with me. Well, what are you here? And he's buying it, and he's like, at some point it just goes, I'll pay you to jerk off in front of me.
Oh my god. I know you just said yes.
Oh, goodness. No, I didn't, because, dude, fuck that, man.
I would have said yes to that.
I would have thought about it.
I thought about it. I didn't even entertain. I didn't want this dude to fucking get on it. I didn't even want to entertain the thought. But I should have at least asked how much. Like, what am I worth?
You didn't even know how much.
What is a beat off session worth to you?
Right, dude. What was the number you would have taken to do it?
Like $1,000.
I would have done it for $200.
Now, is this beat off until completion, or do you just stroke a couple times and you're good to go?
Because here's the thing,
changes.
That's a rough question, because there's negotiation in that, because then it becomes, well, can I just beat off with my eyes closed? Do I have to look you in the eyes?
Well, this dude, he preys upon hikers.
Yeah,
man, because they come and go all year round.
So you can tell
it's a trail town, man. They're used to people coming and going, and he gets some of them. He was showing me videos of hikers and
jerking off.
Well, all he's showing is them having sex with the girls, which are really attractive girls,
So those guys,
and like I said, all this shit interconnects with. I meet the same people in different places. I mean, in this particular story, there are like 5 people that I feel like I grew up with, all part of this situation. And I was just envisioning it. These people from Franklin all came together in this fucked up quantum reality.
Jerking off on camera.
Like, hey, listen.
Yeah, but all his videos were these dudes banging these girls. But he does, and then he'll be like, yeah, but right after this,
he sucked my dick.
Yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. That is so crazy.
But then at the end, he did give me a little bit of money just to keep me quiet, because he's like, dude, don't tell anyone about this. He's a freaking like 3rd grade teacher or something like that. He's or a music teacher for like little kids, and he's like, don't tell anyone about this, because it's just not very cool to be if people know them. I didn't tell him what it was, dude. So
listen, you sick motherfucker. If you ever see this and you recognize him, I swear to God, the next person you get to suck your dick, I hope they bite it off, because that is ridiculous and hilarious. Actually, I kind of think.
Well, everyone consents to it, man. I mean, he's not forcing anyone to do it.
Exactly, which is fucking hilarious.
Hikers all know they have been hiking a month. Man,
it's like truckers.
Action,
because that's a real thing. Truckers will pick you up and then say, "Listen, I'm giving you a ride."
Yeah, but that's why I don't like hitchhiking, man. I've met crazy people hitchhiking.
It's a weird situation. When you're in somebody's car going 60 miles an hour, they have control of your life.
Dude, when I was younger, before I had any tattoos, man, I was hitchhiking. I get in this truck, and this is in like Hip Town, like
before you had tattoos, you were a pedophile's wet dream.
Dude, I was hitching. Dude hands me a screwdriver. It's these 2 old timers, man, and he's like, hands me orange juice first thing. They're both drinking, driving in the mountains, dude. He's like, you want some bud? And I was like, yeah, dude. He's like, all right, fucking takes a sharp left. Now I'm out in the middle of nowhere, dude. I'm like farther away. I was only going like 20 miles down the road. Now I'm like 50 miles away, dude.
Nervous.
Way in the middle of nowhere. I had no clue where I'm at. I probably don't even get cell phone service there, dude. Just some random honky-tonk place. Smoking bud with some random dude. And this dude, the driver, drinks half of a bottle of liquor. Like, straight.
Jesus.
Driving. Swerving all over the road, dude. And then the dude who's with him, he's all drunk too, starts smashing his hands with his glass rod, dude. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And like, this is this reminds me of like Georgetown Road, no guardrails. If you wanted to, you just go, woo!
Yeah. Your leg is in their hands.
And he fucking tried to do it, man. And I had to grab the wheel and turn him back on the road. He's like, it's time to die, we're gonna die. And I was like, no, man, I don't want to die, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to die today.
But dude, this was his buddy's house that we were at smoking, and he goes, his buddy looks at me with the most serious look ever, dude. And he's like, I really hope these guys get you to where you're going safely. And I'm like, oh fuck, I mean, I have no idea where I'm at, dude.
What the fuck, dude? That's so scary.
We were like in there, the one dude's like, he gets out, he jumps on the hood, and they're driving down the fucking road with this dude on the hood dancing, dude.
That sounds like the scariest.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And then I stopped hitchhiking for quite some time after that.
Yeah, because like you gotta fucking if you're gonna hitchhike, when somebody pulls over to get you, you literally have to run a background check.
You're at their
What's your name and address and credit score before I get in your car? You know what I mean?
You're at their mercy.
You know what? Somebody should invent an app for hitchhikers.
There you go.
For people, like an internet, like a national roadway, like here's guys to watch out for, here's what this guy will do, here's a really nice guy who will pick you up on this road.
Did you ever hear like the rainbow gatherings and stuff?
Yeah.
Railroaders, shit like that.
Those things are fucking nuts.
Dude, so they're like professional hitchhikers. This is
Yeah.
what they do. They get us their life. They always have a dog. They always got dreadlocks, you know, and they're panhandle, dude. They make like shit more money than us.
You can't go to the rainbow
Fine,
gathering
son.
with money. You can't buy anything there.
Yeah, dude,
you have
it's
to
all
go there
trade.
and barter and trade.
It's all trade.
So people will bring these rainbow people. They'll bring them food, clothing, blankets, toilet paper's a big one. And soap. They like never have the small things. People always bring them stupid shit like crystals. So like they love getting like fucking household items. Like that's a real big one at the rainbow.
Like a
Gathering.
frying
It's just
pan.
like shit that you can't, that nobody
Spatula.
remembers. And they don't go
Toilet
to
paper.
stores. They like they are real nomads. Like they straight just travel and they live
Dude.
off of other people.
I was at a
Like,
festival.
man.
I was at a festival last month. So and I was camping with some of them, the rail riders and people who went to them things. They told me this story, dude. Because I guess they have all these camps. I've never been to one, but they have,
Allegheny Forest. Vanessa says she's been to the Rainbow Gathering in Allegheny Forest.
yeah, they got all these camps. Like they got like dirty old man camp is what they said, and that's basically if you're walking through and you come upon this camp, there's a dude out or a couple of dudes out there. In order to get past, you have to show your ticker bubble. It's called dirty old man camp. And then they got like dirty kids camp, which is all over rail riders. You know what I mean? But there was one camp, dude. It was like Al Shalon or something like that, dude. People wear turbans and stuff. They had an elephant, dude.
The seats.
The one year something like that, dude. They had an elephant, like a little elephant, in their camp, and somebody got drunk or whatever. A bunch of people got drunk and went over and stole the elephant in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And so
do you
these
steal an
people,
elephant?
the people with their
Just
turbans
hop
and
on.
shit, they come out with fucking AK-47s, dude.
Yep.
And they're coming like they go into this camp. They're like, "Who the fuck stole our elephant?" You know what I mean? They all got AKs. And then everyone's like, I didn't do it, you know, they're all scared about the AKs, and then the dude goes, and then you just hear a and the fucking elephant was in somebody's tent, like screeching, dude.
How big
They
was
went-
the tent?
I don't know,
Yeah,
man,
elephant.
probably big, dude.
Because it's an
I've seen
elephant.
some pretty big tents.
Because that
It wasn't like a
elephant's
full-size elephant,
like a
it was
baby
probably,
like a pygmy elephant.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Like
So
hippopotamus
like that
size.
was like ISIS or like Al Qaeda.
No, it's called, they're Sikhs. The
They're
ones
just
who
carry-
wear turbans are called Sikhs.
carry
So they're
around
not
fucking
Muslims,
AKs.
they're Hindus.
Yeah, dude.
They said there's a camp for anything you can imagine. Fairy camp, which
Yeah.
would be, you can get an idea.
What about
of that.
fuzzies? You know, there's people that dress
Furries.
up. Furries. They dress
Furries.
up like stuffed animals and
Man,
they fuck each
probably,
other.
dude, wouldn't surprise me at all. I
So
mean, shit,
what happened was it used to be like
50,000 people will be going to
the
this
Rainbow
one.
Gathering was
Coming out probably this
hippies.
small.
Yeah, now it's like any outcast group. And
Yeah,
it's like
and that's what it has pretty much evolved to. It's
Yeah.
changed over the years.
any group that doesn't feel welcome by society, they can go and
Yeah.
create their own little thing.
A
And
lot of face
They just
tattoos,
don't
a lot of.
I've seen the
where
originals. The
people dress
original
up like
Rainbow
babies.
people are not fucking happy. Like
No,
they-
they're not. And then the people, like, you meet, like, I go to Ocala. I've been to Ocala. I was just there for quite some time. And they have it every year there. It's one of the only places they really have it almost every year there. And the city hates them, dude.
Yeah,
Because there's a crime goes up, like,
Yep.
way up when they're in town.
I think the original Rainbow people. I don't even think they go to those camps anymore just because of how fucking shitty it got and like
Yeah.
it got bastardized. So now I think
This is a
because
big
they keep
party
it
now.
secret. It's like the Cacophony Society. Like the Cacophony Society was started like with the Merry Band of Pranksters and all that. Like they started Burning Man. And the Cacophony Society is anybody can be a member. You can make up your own chapter. So we could right now at this table we could make up the Lower West End Cacophony Society of Humble Beginners. Any wild ridiculous name. And like this one group that Duncan Trussell, this comedian, was in, they would go to a grocery store that had this like bar / restaurant inside of it. And every Saturday night they would go dressed in their pajamas and they would read the apology letter that Tiger Woods wrote for his affair.
Right?
Right? So they only did it
affairs.
once. They met once and disbanded on the same night.
Oh,
But they
okay.
met in pajamas at this bar inside of a Winn-Dixie
That's
grocery store, and
Interesting
then read.
concept.
The guy got up and gave a speech, but what he read was the apology letter that Tiger Woods said when he had an affair. So it's hilarious. But it's meant so that way other people who are in the area, it's supposed to make people question reality because they look and they're like, what the fuck is happening? Like this one group in, I think it was Portland, they put a clown at every bus stop, right? So every time the bus stopped, it would pick up another clown, but the clowns
Nice, dude.
but the clowns wouldn't acknowledge each other. So like it was just like
That reminds me of
all
that.
these clowns are going to some place, but none of them know each other, and they're all going to the same bus. Yeah.
That's some weird
The
shit.
Cacophony Society, it's like, it's a merry band of pranksters kind of thing, but it's meant to make people question reality and like
Am I
make
really
them
seeing
kind of
this?
smile and laugh.
Yeah.
And, like, is this really happening right
Yeah.
now? And it's like there's no requirements, there's no rules. It's really fun. I've always wanted to do something like that because the book that the Cacophony Society has is fucking amazing. If anybody wants to know more about it, definitely look into it because it's pretty funny. Vanessa Willis says about the rainbow camps, they love chocolate. There's like 10 different camps, nude or DMT or shrooms. One's horses, like a kitchen. Crazy. It was so fun. Yeah, it's definitely nuts. Thank you, Charles McVeigh, Nicholas, and all. Chad Schweitzer's back on. He's from last week. But yeah, dude, that's fucking nuts, man. I've always wanted to go to one of those, but I didn't.
I'll probably will this year at some point.
When I was going to the
Yeah,
ledges
we worked
for like 2 years straight, I went to Nelson's Ledges all the time.
That place is crazy.
And I started meeting a bunch of those people, and I was just like,
Yeah, I met quite a few of them.
I was just like, oh, and then you grow out of it. I grew out of that festival phase, and like I still listen to some of the music, but I'm just not. I don't want to spend $80 to camp for 3 days.
Yeah.
Just
Blown out of
around
your
a
mind.
bunch of people who now that they just go there for drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really got into it, but I went to one again. I've been to a couple.
They're
Same
fun
thing.
as long as you don't fucking get mixed up with a bunch of fucking drug happy fucking 20-year-olds because I don't have the energy for that anymore. Those fucking young kids, those young girls in their fucking Ugg boots and their fucking their feathers in their hair and these white girls with dreads. I'm sorry, but there's
They're popping
nothing
that ball.
sexier than a
Ugg
fucking
boots and
tattooed
balls.
white girl with dreads.
Yeah, I like that.
They're pretty hot. Me and Steve went to the ledges. I think it was our first time there in 2008 or 2009. And as soon as we got there, we found a quarter of mushrooms and we each ate a cut.
Yeah.
Then we each ate like 2 hits of acid, had some DMT, just got super fucked up ecstasy. Like I had a whole Swisher Sweet pack full of blunts with different.
That's a
dank in it.
smorgasbord of
Each blunt was
hallucinations,
different dank, and it was we just got super fucked up, and we ended up smoking with these 2 hot, 1 blonde, 1 brunette, dreaded white chicks, and like they smoked us up, and we're
It was
sitting on
like
the
your
beach.
spirit guides, man.
We both wore Snuggies.
Oh yeah,
Remember the Snuggies?
Yeah,
Dude? Snuggies were badass, and I think they're a practical survival tool. A Snuggie is a fucking blanket
One-stop
that you can wear.
in a hood. Like,
Yeah.
come on now. I forgot about Snuggies for the longest time until recently, and I was like, I need to find one. Like, I want a Snuggie again because they're super comfortable, they're practical,
Sure,
and
they're
they're
on
just
eBay.
they're inexpensive. Like the TV was the shit, you know what I mean? A blanket with sleeves, you can't
I see
fucking
your
pass that
TV.
up. Now they have like advanced Snuggies with fucking hoods and pockets and
And it's
Under Armour
Velcro and
Snuggie.
zips. Yeah, like fucking they got ripped off, so now they're not as popular, but they were pretty badass. And we were for some reason I think we were the only ones that year that wore Snuggies to the ledges that time. And people were just going nuts, like, oh my god, it's so soft. It was when Snuggies were new, so people were flipping the fuck out.
Yeah,
Steve's
that's
brother,
like,
Daniel,
dude, that's like something if you weren't high, I just don't see that shit working.
No.
It's
Yeah.
like,
It'd
what
be
are we
weird.
doing? What are we
Otherwise,
doing?
yeah.
you have to be whacked
Yeah,
out of
pretty
your
much
mind
have
with
to be.
hallucinogens for it to be extremely fun. Like I remember getting so fucked up my first time there, going to my car and calling my mom and asking her where I was because I was like, I just hear a lot of noise and I'm in my car and she's like, I was like, I'm tripping. She's like, you'll be fine, you're okay. And then
Dude, the
That's a
last one I was
conversation
at, man,
I had
like,
with
it
my
seems cool at the time because it was messed up, but, like, when I look back at it, it's like, dude, we stayed up for hours, like, 50 of us, drumming on freaking pots and stuff like that, dude. Like,
You just- all it
it's
is
so
is-
stupid looking back on
It's
it.
all it is drug-induced exercise because you're walking for miles in circles.
Isn't
You
that
can't
what
find
acid
anything.
isn't? Acid just makes your brain bleed. Isn't that pretty much what it is?
Well, it doesn't make your brain bleed.
No,
but
it's a chemical reaction in
Yeah.
your brain.
Wow.
Just
But it is fucking. It's like that time we spent in. Can I tell them about the Leechburg trip?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
fucking. I took Wolf Reddington to my hometown where I grew up to go to my buddy Timmy's house because he had this beautiful place out in the country.
That was pretty
And when I walk in, Timmy throws me a bag just full of drugs. He's like, here's a 10 strip of acid, here's some Molly, some fucking, it was Molly, ketamine, acid, and Special K. So I'm like, all right, you can keep the Molly, but I want the acid and the ketamine. And the first day we're there, we each take like 2 hits of fucking this acid. It ended up being that chemical shit from China, like that 2CD or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We take 2 hits apiece and do some ketamine, and we go to the Strawberry Festival in Leechburg, which it's a small town like the size of Rocky Grove, and the Strawberry Festival wasn't even open yet. And I go up to the fucking the funnel cake stand, and there's these teenage girls. And I'm so whacked out of my mind. I'm driving, mind you, 6 miles into town and 6 miles back.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that, man.
I show this spot where we used to sit when we were kids, and I was like talking up, like, it's just 3 benches, they're amazing. And we get there, and they're the size of children's benches. And I'd forgotten, like, oh yeah, I was 10 years old when I was here last time. No wonder these benches are so tiny.
They're a little more comfortable.
It was right by the river, but it was cool. And then we get back, and like Tim's mom gets home. And I'm standing there, me, Wolf, and Timmy, and Tim's mom walks up to us, and all Wolf can mutter out of his mouth is, I don't even know what's going on right now. And he just keeps like nonchalant, like, I don't even know what's going on right now. I don't even know what's going on right now, man. And then every time he'd say something, every time we would say something, like, I don't even know what's going on right now.
Tell me the story for the first time.
Dude, it was great. And then we just watched The Hobbit like 4 times.
Oh, yeah, and you knew
we went
it.
Yeah, and
that was
this is how big a fan Tim was of Lord of the Rings. Every single movie plus The Hobbit, because it was new at the time. He knows the words of. He knows every single line.
And at some point, that combined with the movie itself, seeing it for the first time with that
big ass sound system and TV, dude. It was
that's
so
like 3 hours worth of movie to memorize per movie.
And he knows every line. Like he would look at us, say the line, and then we'd look at the TV and that line.
And I would just be like,
what?
I just like accepted it.
Right now.
I accepted it. Someone like, okay.
And Tim is he looks like a hobbit. Like he looks like a dwarf, dude. He's a funny dude. He's like stocky, but it's just he looks Leechburg. Like that's for sure. He looks like he belongs where he's at.
The place is different. There's a lot of drugs down there.
I fucking love that guy. He's such a good dude. But yeah, for a small town, dude, there is a lot of drugs in that town. Shane Clark just joined. He knows all about Leechburg, and yeah, I was just telling the story about when I took Wolf down to Leechburg. When was that? Like 2013 or 2012? Something that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then we got tripped out. So for 2 days, we just did acid and ketamine. And then we left, and on the way back, we stopped in Freeport, at the Freeport River, and I pushed Wolf Reddington off on this kayak. And I didn't see him for 2 years. That was it.
Sounds about right.
No, yeah, and it was actually one of the funnest times I ever had in Leechburg, because we watched The Hobbit so much. That's all I remember is we got super fucked up, got a funnel cake, I threw it away.
And we smoked up and watched them play the League of Legends.
Oh yeah, that's right. I smoked a lot of weed and watched Tim was huge in the league. He still is. But
My
yeah,
sister
we
played
did that.
I don't get it.
It's like World of Warcraft but shittier, so why wouldn't you just play World of Warcraft?
I think
he said something like every 20 minutes he has to play or he gets kicked out or something like that.
What?
Is that how they get you?
He was doing it to make money, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like he was doing it to
Like
make money.
that
or
makes more sense.
Streaming it and then also like leveling shit up and selling it to people. He would like
okay,
level
that makes more
character
sense.
stuff. Yeah,
It's like
he was making
hustling.
decent money doing it because that's why he never moved out of his parents' house because he could just stay there. And then like his weird dad that lived in the basement with like really long fingernails. Did you ever get to see him?
I think so.
He was like real creepy and all.
Was he like pissing in jars and stuff? That's
yeah,
what
he
it
was
sounds
like, dude, he was one of those dudes. But he played guitar really well.
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
stayed down. Yeah, that's right. Didn't you go down there at one point?
Oh, fuck, I know.
Dude, it was a crazy time. And then like you couldn't touch the walls. I think you might remember that. Because Tim's dad would freak out if you put your hands on the wall. Because he painted them like 7 years ago.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
We did too much exploring when I was there.
I remember.
I pretty much melted into that couch.
We saw a couple people that I grew up with in Leechburg. Because I lived there from the time I was in kindergarten until I was 15. So it was like a big thing for me. So it was nice to experience that with somebody from up here. I've taken a couple people down there. I took Ballard down there one time on my birthday. And my buddy Chad gave me a pack of socks, a tie-dye dragon t-shirt. And he tried smoking a blunt with me that had some kind of weird pill in it, and I wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my birthday present. And then it was like 1 in the morning. I was like, let's go to Leechburg. We met Brother P at this gas station. Me, Ballard, Lisa, and Dylan, I think. There's this black dude I remember from my childhood. He was friends with my parents, and he calls himself Brother P now. And Brother P was like, I don't know, probably not, but he's like, you guys want to smoke some chronic? So
probably not.
we go up to his house and he puts in like middies in a bowl and smokes it with us. Like one of those old school metals, like dude, like old school. Like that's how Leechburg is. Leechburg is, if there was a euphemism or an imagery for Leechburg, it would be an old school metal bowl.
With a
That's that town. That town is a steel town, and people smoke weed out of old school metal bowls and like weird hookahs and shit. It's just a weird place, man. I'm glad I grew up there because it definitely shaped how I came to be. Keith Shirey, a bunch of people just joined at once. Tasha Black, I think she's from Leechburg. That's cool. Nicholas Nolf is from Leechburg. Charles McVeigh, Shane Clark, and Doug Titus. He's back. So yeah, that was interesting.
It sounds interesting.
I need to take you down there sometime so you can see
I'll
it.
make my blood platonic. Like Dr. Dre.
It's a sick little property, dude. They're doing it right. They got the garden, the pond with the fish, you know.
We need to go see
It's like a homestead type.
You didn't get to see the back. If we go back the property, there's this hill, and you go up a hill, and then it flattens out, and there's a pond, and then you go up another hill, and then there's a third level, and there's another pond with this huge open field. It's beautiful. It used to be his grandparents, where his grandparents' house was. And it's nice. It's like 6 miles outside of town down this windy ass road, and there's just property. And then their next door neighbors was the Kleppers, and Melissa Klepper in high school was the 500-pound girl.
The one that used to finger bang?
No, this was a different girl. The girl that I finger banged was probably like 200. She wasn't. This girl was Melissa Klepper. And if you're gonna be a fat girl, 500 pounds in like a 12th grade, your last name shouldn't be Klepper, because that's fucking horrible. Yeah, rounds with heifer. And her dad couldn't read. He worked at
That's a sad life.
They had a pond next to their house where they didn't have plumbing until she was in the 10th grade. And that's where they just shit.
Where did they poop in a bucket?
They had an outhouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they had to bathe in a pond, and it was like gross. And she wore spandex all the time. And she smelled. Walking behind her in the hallway in school was fucking torture.
Did they have like a shower caddy?
I wonder what happened to her though.
No, I never saw anything like that.
This is like the people that
right, I don't know what happened to her. All I know is that she met my mom when my mom worked at the grocery store, and she loved my mom. So she would just show up at our house sometimes.
Did you offer her like a toilet or a shower? Like a warm?
No, I would avoid her at all costs because I was a kid. I was like 12. I didn't want to be associated with her. I was trying to raise my clout, my guy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know, I didn't want to be.
School model.
Yeah, those high school models. You want to be seen in school. That's why I was in Boy Scouts
and
football.
Yeah, trying to work their way up.
You work your way up through the social ladder because Leesburg is a super Italian town. And there was like, it's just like here, there's last names that everybody knows. Right. But in Leechburg, it's amplified because it's even smaller. There's two stoplights.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like, there's a few last names that everybody knows, like Del Vecchio, Devin, who was on here, Waslink, his mom worked, Nolf, his mom worked.
I went to college with Devin Waslink.
Really?
Yeah.
At
Teal.
Yeah, Devin Waslink.
Yeah, we lived across the hall from each other. Yeah.
He was we were in Cub Scouts together.
Yeah.
I've known him.
Yeah, we didn't hang out a whole lot. I know that we partied together a couple times.
Mike Nolf went to Teal too.
Oh, I know Mike Nolf too.
Yeah,
he's a big guy with a big beard.
We were in Cub Scouts together, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We were really good friends when we were little kids and shit.
Yeah.
That's nuts. We went to the same fucking kindergarten together.
That is crazy. Yeah.
And then Lindsay Groff, I think you knew her at some point, or fucking.
That name sounds familiar, man.
She went to Edinburgh too.
But yeah, man, lived across the hall from me.
Yeah, his little brother Devin, I don't know, I forget his little brother's name.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Devin was, he was a quarterback. And then we had this is how Italian Leesburg was. There was a dude named Stephen Natus, okay? His brother's name was Fonzie Natus. His older brother's name was Fonzie, and like Stephen, blonde hair, Greek Adonis, like really good looking dude. Fonzie Natus, brunette hair, Italian, Greek Adonis, super good looking dude.
So like
what the
fuck? In real life?
How is it fair? You know what I mean? But yeah, like the fawns in real life, like the hair, like when you go like this, it's just perfectly feathered and just like really straight and nice. Super, really good at football. Like his brother Steven went to play for like the Army football league and was in the and like fucking just really accomplished dudes. And like a lot of the guys that I went to school with in Leechburg ended up doing pretty awesome things. So it was like one of those things that I wish I wouldn't have moved, but I'm glad I did because I met a lot of cool people. But I think if I wouldn't have, my life would have taken a different path. I probably would have.
What do you remember how you described this town to Tim? Do you remember how you described it to him? Because it was a pretty accurate description.
I'm pretty sure I called it. I know I said something about Leesburg with it too, because it was like a. Because this town to me is like a. It's like a Leechburg times 2 rest stop. That's how I've always seen it. It's like a multi. I don't know. It's like a rest stop because it's just an intersection of like a pasture place. It's definitely a pasture, but it's like a. I don't know, man.
I don't remember how you did it, but the way you described it was like the perfect description of this.
I don't remember.
I couldn't have agreed more. You said something along the lines of it used to be this, and then it's just everyone kind of got stuck here and got into drugs. At least at that point in time of our lives.
It's still the same thing because it is like it's
just got stuck here. You know, what are we gonna do? Boy, it's the devil's playground.
It's a pass-through town that you get stuck in. That's for sure. Especially if you have anything to do with
road roots, anchor booties.
Yeah, absolutely. that's for sure. This is definitely an anchor baby town because everybody that comes here is such a weird, eclectic group. Like, you meet people all the time, like, well, how the fuck did you end up here?
Yeah, I mean, shit, what lands here tends to stay here.
That is
Stay
true.
in one place long enough, you become that place.
That's
And a
very true.
product of this environment.
I left and came back, but this time coming back, I'm more successful than ever. So I have to say I'll leave again. That's why 5-year plans are important to me because I know in 5 years I can build up enough of income and enough stability to be able to.
Yeah. Dude, I gave you that chance. I was like, yeah, dude, come stay with me for a week.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, dude, because I needed it. Because I just needed to get
I
out
could
of
have
it.
been like, fuck you, Witty. I would never do that.
It's hard to go somewhere and start over.
It is, man.
I just couldn't I could have done it.
You needed a break. So
The town, the population where I was at was 700. I couldn't afford the rent farther
That
south.
sucks.
If I-
700 sucks.
I tried to get my parents to retire in Nevada because I found them this property in Nevada where it overlooked mountains and it was like 5 hours from Las Vegas, 8 hours from LA. Like, it was perfect location, and they didn't want to go that far. Plus, my mom has no kneecap; she's metal, and she's like problems like arthritis and shit. And she didn't want to. Oh shit!
Nice.
Is that a moth?
No, dude, I think that's the helper one.
Dude, is it? There's another one?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, well.
Use your notebook.
Those are great fishing buddy, dude.
Where is it?
Right there on the wall.
Oh yeah.
If you don't kill it, dude, it's gonna kill
Oh
us.
shit, Peter's gonna throw a fit.
Did that thing just make a noise?
No, it was.
No. I was like, what on earth?
Okay, that's because I vaped and smoked.
Peter's gonna shut this down.
Yeah, Peter's gonna shut us down, guys.
Oh yeah, that's probably.
Fuck those.
Look at
Where
it.
are they coming in from? I bet you. I know where it's coming in from. Probably fucking the attic where Steve has this shitty little fan.
Oh, the
not
window.
sealed in.
No. God, yeah.
Yeah, we're
That's
gonna have to go up there and close that. So yeah, I'm sorry I spilled a Helvermite. Anybody for the audio listeners, you won't get to see that, but you would have heard it.
like eggs on the back of this thing now.
Well, I'm glad we
kill
killed
like
it.
fish.
There
and
should have been an
helmet. No one
abortion.
cares about fish and helmets and bugs. But
Right? Nobody
anything
cares.
else,
You know what? Bug lives matter.
I killed an armadillo one time. I wonder what was that like.
That's like an ancient animal.
It's not a
I
mammal,
ate
but
it,
it's
but
a.
like you're not supposed to eat it because they carry leprosy.
Yeah,
But I didn't know that at the time, so I
Yeah.
ate it anyway.
What are those called?
They're
about,
mammals, but they're a certain kind of mammal.
Yeah.
Marsupial.
You know what I
Yeah.
want to know? Whatever happened to hermaphrodites? Remember when we were kids?
Like,
Yeah, like that. But
Transgender?
remember, no, transgender is when somebody is like a woman trapped in a male's body. So
Oh.
hermaphrodite was a term used back when we were
Like a-
kids to
boy-
describe a person with both
boy-
sexual genders.
Oh, okay.
Like you have a penis and a vagina,
maybe you
right?
just choose a path. Or
So I think
that's
what they're
not real.
called now is there's some other term, but isn't it weird how like during all this discussion you never heard any like hermaphrodite rights, or whatever the term
Yeah.
is.
LGBT. You know.
Well, now it's LGBT, YQR.
It's all encompassing.
Like there's it's huge. It's
Because
like
everyone is
17.
a little bit different.
Yeah,
Yep.
Shit, I probably into tattoos.
probably, and that's like it's just like autism. Like everybody's on the
Spectrum's
spectrum.
huge, yeah.
It's I don't know. It's real weird.
It's
I don't
good.
agree with all of it.
Well,
I mean,
for
it's good if you need a
interpretation.
place to feel comfortable. Fit in. I'm all for it.
Safe spaces have expanded into psychological zones. They're not just actual places where you feel safe.
Safe spaces have expanded into definitions
Oh,
and
dude.
how we talk about things.
Boy, if I was in school and like, I'm surprised like new guys are like, you know what? I feel like I'm a woman. I'm gonna go piss in the girls' bathroom, dude. Just or the girls' locker room.
Well,
I need to go to the girls'
I'm
locker
sure
room.
That's a myth.
Yeah.
That's a myth. No, it's not even happening now. Because just because people make a law about it doesn't mean it's all of a sudden.
No, I'm saying you don't think there's a guy that wants to piss in the girl's bathroom. That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying.
Of course.
I'm
And
not talking
that's
about-
why I think a lot of the rhetoric is dangerous because it's giving people an excuse
Yeah.
to
Perverts.
say,
It's giving
oh,
perverts
no,
an
it's giving
excuse.
perverts
Yeah.
excuse. But nothing was stopping them from using that excuse before. They were able to do it before. There was very, very, very few who actually did. And if you are worried about your child in a public restroom, then your child shouldn't use a public restroom. Like, be careful. You know what I mean? Watch your child in a public. Everybody knows that. If you have a fucking 7-year-old, watch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, be there. You don't just send off your kid. Like, I know when I was little, we were allowed to go out and play, but then when we were in a public place, in a public restroom, my dad went with me to the bathroom, or my mom stood outside the door. Those kind of things.
Yeah,
You know?
there's people out there, man.
There's bad people everywhere. You're never going to get rid of bad people. That's what a lot of people understand. And then just the current.
Some people just want to be bad, man.
Yeah.
You can't save them if they don't want to be saved.
Exactly, and some people just want to burn it all.
Remember Dennis Rodman? He wrote a book called Bad as I Want to Be. It's a good book, man.
Yeah.
He talks about fucking Madonna.
I'm gonna have to read that.
Graphically.
I'm gonna have to read that.
It's a
Did
novel.
he talk about how he broke his dick?
Probably. I don't
He
really
told,
remember.
so Dennis Rodman told a story where he was fucking this chick, and the chick wanted to run and jump onto him. So he laid on the bed, and the chick ran and jumped on him and broke his dick to where it was like a straight L,
Yeah.
like a straight bent.
You know, he was like,
He had to go to the hospital. He's done that twice. He's broke
Yeah.
his dick twice.
he's the only American that was like allowed in North Korea for like, he's like bros with
Kim Jong Un.
yeah, like best bros.
They went on a skiing trip where Kim Jong Un.
Dennis Rodman, the worm, dude.
Yeah.
This is a true story.
He's the best defender in the history, besides Kevin
Dude,
Durant.
best rebounder for
Best
sure.
rebounder,
man.
for sure. But yeah, he broke his dick twice, and he's the only American to ever go skiing and jet skiing with Kim Jong Un.
They like shoot hoops together and stuff, dude. It's crazy.
So Kim Jong Un is a huge basketball fan, and Dennis Rodman. He reached out to Dennis Rodman's people, and Dennis Rodman put together a team of like Harlem Globetrotter, like ex NBA guys and Harlem Globetrotter guys, and took a full NBA team of max retired players over to North Korea and played a game of those guys against North Koreans.
Yeah.
What?
And smashed them.
Obviously.
Except they started losing at one point because the North Koreans were so focused and determined, and the NBA guys were all like lazy and just
bro.
and like the team started falling apart and like arguing. So like they're like, "Yo, why are we even here? What the fuck are we doing?" Like getting pissed. Like, and eventually it ended up working out. They won, but they like underestimated the North Koreans like tremendously. But of course they should have won easily. It's just like the Olympics. Like the reason our basketball team always wins the Olympics.
Did you know
Because
our basketball team?
America's basketball is always better.
They just got their asses whooped by Mexico last week.
Yeah.
Bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's like
There's-
not supposed
The
to
reason
happen.
that other countries are finally seeing
Oh,
it,
yeah.
like there's no reason like why all these foreign players come to the NBA anyway. So there's talent in these leagues. Money, that is true. So like they can win if they try, but you know
Yeah. Well,
they aren't sourcing other talent.
half the team, the U.S. men's national team, wasn't playing. It was like qualifying for the FIBA World Cup, so it's not like a big deal yet. But when it comes time, it'll be a big deal. I'm sure.
Fuck the World Cup. How about that? That's an unpopular opinion. Everybody's like the World Cup. Like you didn't give a shit about the World Cup last time it was on.
American football.
Nobody gives a shit about the World Cup. Really.
I just don't like.
Why is it such a big deal this year?
It's been a big deal. Like
Well, it's the most
increasingly
popular
big deal
sport in the world. It's just
and not even close.
But I mean, like why now in America? Like it's this huge.
because
fucking deal.
people are bored.
It's getting more television time, dude. Because like
Yeah,
MLS
like-
is getting bigger. Like
I feel like
the
they're
European soccer
exploiting
leagues
it.
are getting bigger.
I feel like the media is exploiting it so that way more people care
Yeah,
about
people are
Mexicans.
bored. But people are bored.
All they want is more people to care about Mexicans with everything going on, so they're trying to exploit the World Cup to make people
They're probably doing
more
it
familiar with good Mexicans.
because America, first of all, didn't qualify for the World Cup this year. They're probably trying to hype it up so American soccer players are like,
And where is it? Russia, right?
yeah,
The World Cup is in Russia.
it's coming to America in 2026, I believe.
The Olympics are coming back too, right?
But I'm not sure. Probably, but
Dude, I heard this really good argument for why the Olympics should have set cities. Because what happened, like with Rio, they spend billions of dollars
building shit.
for what they call
Yeah.
white elephants. A white elephant is it goes back to Hinduism, and white elephants were revered as like really majestic and like holistic or whatever.
They are
So
majestic.
they would paint these elephants white, and they weren't allowed to be used in war, so they were useless pretty much. You know, they were just it was a sign of wealth and opulence if you had one, but they were useless otherwise. So white elephants, that's what they call the Olympic centers, like where they host the games. They call those stadiums white elephants because they're useless.
Yeah.
They're just rotting. They're sitting
That
there
makes
making
sense,
use.
man.
They cost these cities like China and
Millions.
Brazil was already in debt, and they were having
Yeah.
huge financial issues.
Plus the garbage factor in South America, like they had to clean up so much trash just to get the Olympics.
And
to
it's
stay.
like a symbol of status. Like if you get the Olympics together,
Yeah.
it's a symbol of status, and you get attention. But it doesn't do anything for your local economy. It hurts people.
Only
So I feel like-
temporarily it
yeah.
does. I mean, as soon as they're gone, it's back to shit.
We could talk about this on Thursday. So real
Yeah,
quick,
maybe do that.
we're probably going to be ending the podcast soon. Let me just check the time. We do have an announcement to make. Thursday will be the debut of Three Guys, All Balls, which is a sports podcast headed by, what's his name?
Garrett Crow.
Garrett Crow, Matt Hadden, and myself will be hosting. Oh, look at that! Yeah, overlapping audio. Sorry, everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching. I'm an idiot, obviously.
That's unfortunate.
I just wanted to check the time. So yeah, we're about an hour on, which is good. That's about our limits. So we are going to be starting Thursday at what time did we say?
I think
9 o'clock. Thursday, 9 or 10 o'clock. We're going to be doing a sports podcast called Three Guys, All Balls.
All balls.
I'll be debuting the logo this week sometime. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of discussion about sports. Obviously, NBA free agency is huge.
LeBron's the Laker.
LeBron just signed with the Lakers for $154 million fucking dollars.
I didn't know
4 years.
Just happened a couple hours ago.
4 years, $154 million, and the guy's already a billion.
Still not enough to make me want to watch basketball.
No. But
That's
I mean, the landscape of the NBA has changed drastically
But
today.
he doesn't care who goes with him or without him. I think that's a mistake.
But I just found out while we were sitting here, Lance Stevenson,
Yeah.
who used to whisper in LeBron's ear, if you remember when LeBron was playing with the Heat, he used
Yeah.
to blow in LeBron's ear. He signed with the Lakers today.
They have chemistry. They're friends.
Yeah, JaVale McGee left Golden State to sign a one-year deal with the Lakers. So
Really?
the Lakers are putting
So
together
now they
some
have
kind of a squad.
JaVale McGee, who has inside information about the Warriors,
Maybe.
to go to the
We'll
Lakers.
see.
That's a big. Why would JaVale McGee do that?
Money. He's got 2 championship rings now.
That is true.
Maybe
Good
just
for
one.
him. That's what worries me about Durant in 2 years.
Yeah, well,
But I feel like the Warriors will always have enough money for Durant.
yeah, he wants to stay there. So the NBA will be huge, and Tiger Woods fucking finished in the top 5 today.
Which LA
So,
team? Really?
That's huge.
Dude,
He
one
might
of
be
my
back.
hero. I think he's one of my heroes.
He's
That's been
definitely
a long
He's a
time
true
since
American
he's.
icon.
Dude, he changed the landscape of American sports.
How many years has it been
Dolphins,
since he's been
like,
on?
I'm waiting for like the Tiger Woods.
10
of-
years.
The Tiger
2008.
Woods of NASCAR. Like, who's the first Tiger Woods of NASCAR? Like the
Dan
first.
Kirkpatrick?
No, like the
That-
first.
it's gonna
black
dominate
NASCAR.
and
guy.
Oh yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Never.
It might never
That's why I
happen.
say Danica Patrick. She's like the woman.
Yeah, pretty
She
much.
did. She
yeah.
was like the Tiger Woods of NASCAR, and she fucking changed the landscape of NASCAR. And
Yeah, well,
you know,
racing.
she's fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
now
she
she's
is.
an entrepreneur with her own company.
And she dated
retired.
Aaron Rodgers.
One of the best quarterbacks.
Most
There was
talented
somebody
quarterback I've
telling
ever
me
seen.
that who is the most athletic, the top athlete
In the world,
in the world?
I would say LeBron is the most
LeBron
athletic.
James. Somebody was trying to say Tom Brady.
He's the
Aaron
greatest.
Rodgers is more athletic
Tom,
than
if
Tom
you're talking
Brady.
about rings, Tom Brady's the GOAT, but Aaron
No,
Rodgers
this
is
just
more
the most
talented.
athletic superstar.
LeBron's the most athletic. Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback I might have ever
For sure,
seen.
because he's if you're talking about rings, then it's Tom Brady. But we're
Yeah.
talking about athleticism and just pure efficiency. Aaron Rodgers is.
Yes, run, throw. If
Yeah.
you can stay healthy, man.
He's more athletic than Tom Brady. Tom
Definitely.
Brady is actually Tom Brady's a lot like LeBron because without the right people around him, he fails.
Yeah, and well, Tom Brady had like the worst NFL combine scores of all time, so he's
Yeah.
not even in the conversation of
That's
best
very true.
athletes. But,
So yeah, somebody gave this ridiculous argument on the herd of Colin Coward.
but I like that shit.
Somebody gave this argument. It was a black dude arguing that Tom Brady was the was the top athlete ever.
How would you ever know though?
I mean, you can't.
What
with
was like a
stats,
UFC
numbers,
player?
just
or what was
LeBron
a baseball player
being, like, so
It comes
explosive.
down to stats, numbers, and then like
the eye test.
The eye test.
Yeah.
So it's the eye test, like who looks more athletic, who acts more athletic, who does the better things, and then stats. But he had some interesting breakdowns on Tom Brady's stats. But when it comes to like the game that's being played, LeBron exerts more energy over a longer period of time.
Dude, he's 6'8", 250.
There's not as many breaks in basketball
Domination.
unless you count fouls as football.
Yeah.
You know, the plays, I mean, yeah.
Well, there's
it's-
a break in football after every single snap.
Exactly.
50, 40 seconds. So.
There could be a back and forth, almost like a volley, you would call it,
Yeah.
in basketball for how it could just
Yeah,
go.
until the next
If
whistle.
nobody fouled and nobody
Yeah.
got a shot,
Nothing
it
goes
could
out of
go.
bounds. Yeah.
Exactly, so it could go on. And the quarters are longer, right? Like 20
They're
minutes?
12 minutes
12, so they're 3 minutes shorter.
shorter. But yeah, less breaks in between. So.
Yeah, that's true. Unless it's a
And they
short
play
game,
82
fouls.
games a year, not 60.
82 games a year. I did find it fascinating. Also, LeBron James played all 82 games.
Yeah, and he
last
led the
season.
league in minutes played per game.
Who's about to pass? Who's about to get the scoring? The most points?
LeBron.
No, there's somebody else.
Well,
Is
Kareem
it-
Abdul-Jabbar is number one.
Somebody's
Karl
about-
Malone is number two, and LeBron's about to
Chamberlain.
pass He's not in the top 5 anymore. He was. Per game, he's the best.
No, yeah, I'm not per game. I mean, like all
All
time.
time. It's Kareem was number 1, Abdul-Jabbar. Karl Malone is number 2. I believe Jordan was 3, but LeBron's about to pass Jordan if he hasn't already.
Yeah, I think there was somebody else coming up on that.
I'm not sure.
I think Durant's close on points too.
He'll be in the top 10, 15 if he's not already.
Durant could end up. I think Durant has more longevity than LeBron does in the league.
He doesn't take the beating.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
I think that's going to do him good because he still could kick it up another gear and take more of a beating. Because I think if LeBron retires, LeBron will retire before Durant.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's a little older, yeah.
And then Durant will. I think Durant will definitely finally be in the conversation because that's why he always plays with a chip on his shoulder.
He wants to be better than LeBron. Yeah, doesn't want to be.
And he's damn near close. He's damn near
offensively,
at the same level.
I would say he's better.
Defensively, he's all right, but I mean, all around, he's a really good fucking player. His basketball IQ is really far up there, and his emotional.
Yeah, he's a 7-foot guard, man.
He's able to check his emotions way better most of the time than LeBron. He didn't break his hand during the fucking finals.
That's true. After the
How
first game.
stupid do you have to be to break your hand on the first game?
If it even was broken, maybe he was just a publicity stunt.
Well, I think
But
it was
anyway.
because he didn't wear the castle after this,
Right.
after it was over.
We'll talk about all this and more.
Yeah, so Thursday, 3 guys, all balls. We will have some more information.
And if you guys want to hear about stuff, definitely.
Yeah,
let
message
know.
us, leave comments if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, any sports, any teams, please let us know. For now, the last question I will pose is, who's your favorite sports team? And if you have any questions for the wonderful Wolf Reddington, as always, leave them in the comments or message me or message the Not So Black Podcast Facebook page. For our audio listeners, you can contact us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Not So Black Podcast, or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Joshua David Whitty. Thank you so much for listening, and I guess all I really have to say is thank you so much for being with us on this wonderful. I mean, I think we should just end it on a.
I feel like Elton John's singing
is
Joshua.
Whitty. Oh, his name is Whitty. And I think I'm gonna tell you about the new podcast coming up. It's called
His name is Josh.
3 Guys All Balls.
Podcast. His name is Josh.
I have 2 podcasts. My name is Josh. I have 2 podcasts.
More than murder, you get it right one of these days.
Yeah, man. Unlimited chances.
Yeah, you play the odds. So touching.
It feels like jazz.
Very
Smooth
heartfelt.
jazz in like an elevator.
What if we did a jam session someday?
Yeah, I did actually. I think everybody watching and listening probably remembers episode 4. We did some
jam
live
session?
music.
I like
I
it.
played a song, and as soon as I started playing, everybody left. So I was like, oh. I'm just kidding. There were some people that stayed and listened. I think that one's available on YouTube. And yeah, so don't forget to pay
So you're not
attention.
doing a music podcast?
We will. We're gonna do some
Okay.
live music again sometime.
Mondays?
We're gonna do live music sometime for you guys. Also, we will have Anchor, YouTube, Facebook. That's where, and all the social media. That's where this episode will be available. If you want to check out any of our older episodes, please check us out on Anchor and YouTube, as well as Facebook. All the videos are up. Anchor is an amazing resource for listening to podcasts. You can also find us on iTunes. This episode was brought to you by True Merch & Co., my company, as well as WB Home Renovations, and also just the sure will and gracefulness of my 2 friends here, Wolf Reddington and Matt Hadden. As always, I am Joshua David Whitty, signing off. Thank you so much for listening and watching the Not So Black Podcast. That's it, guys. We will talk to you next week, and I'll see you Thursday. Peace.
Adios. That was good.
All right. Well, Facebook is still rolling up
That was
there,
long.
right now. Yeah, it was, let's see how long. Facebook's still rolling, so people can still see us and hear us on the video. I just shut off the audio.
So you're saying
We are at an hour and 13 minutes. So yeah, thank you everybody who watched and enjoyed the podcast. Let me go ahead and
When do you
turn
find out how many views you get on it?
this around. Thank you so much, everybody. Usually tomorrow I'll check. That's when I'll know the views. Say goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. And for those of you interested in the sports podcast, that's Thursday between the hours of 9 and 10 Eastern Time. All three guys, all balls will be
all balls.
debuting. So thank you so much for your time. Peace.